Let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of the society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interest you have committed to our charge. Amen. Clerk, next order.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
And next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
No messages. Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
No papers. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
We have responses to statement from Chair, Committee on Health, Honorable Njuguna.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to respond to the statement that was sought by Honorable Athiai on 7th August 2024, whereby he requested a statement from the Committee on Health Services concerning the status of the standby generator and lack of power at Margaret Kenyatta Mother and Baby Wing. Upon the receipt of the requests of the statement, the committee wrote to the CC Health Services on 8th August concerning the statements as follows. Whether the Department of Health Services is aware that Margaret Kenyatta Mother and Baby Wing has dysfunctional generator, standby generator. Number 2, the mitigation measures the county government has put in place to restore the standby generator to curb such further increase in mortality rates at the facility. In response to the statement, the CC Health Services gave the committee a detailed report on the following. A report on power blackout at Margaret Kenyatta unit on 5th August 2024, service status of the generator, functional status of other generators in the hospital. And Mr. Speaker, the CC responded to us and they said that the generator is functional, and the statement reads as follows. On 5th August 2024, at about 7 p.m., there was a grid power outage that affected, among other installations, the Margaret Kenyatta wing. The power interruption was reported as frequent on and off. However, at some point, the 650 kVA generator supplying the unit did not come on automatically when the grid power went off. This blackout lasted about 30 minutes. The biomedical engineers resorted to turning it on manually, which was successful. In the morning of 6th August, the engineers evaluated the generator and they found no mechanical or electrical faults and reset the automatic change over the system. They tested the system and found it to be sound. This generator has not malfunctioned since then. The engineers attributed the malfunction to the frequent on and off outage of the grid power, which seems to have activated the internal system mechanisms of the generator. Service status of the generator. Model, it is FOGO. Capacity rating, it is 650 kVA. Date of service, it was serviced on 14th July 2023. Next service, it will be serviced after 300 hours. And the current hours, it's 82 hours. So therefore, Mr. Speaker, the said generator is actually in working condition, and it's actually in a good working condition. Functional state of other generators in the hospital. The hospital has 5 generators in total. All are in good functional states and are not yet due for service. All generators have not had any major breakdown, and therefore all generators are maintained with adequate fuel reserves. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I believe the statement is self-explanatory. The issue that was there is the issues of the on and off of the main grid that affected the systems of that generator, but however, they resorted to actually putting it on manually, and I think actually currently things are good at the said facility, and all generators are being checked and they are functioning normally, and therefore I don't believe there is any other outage as far as the power is concerned in that facility. However, we want to thank the member that requested for that statement, because we know, as he said, there are incubators and there are kids who are actually been already in those incubators, and therefore when the power outage can actually hit that facility, it means the mortality rate would have increased, and therefore it's good actually for the members to be vigilant and to be responding to us on time as far as that issue is concerned. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I beg to respond to Honorable Wathiai.
Honorable Wathiai from Shabab, I see you're in the house. Maybe you can, you've digested the response, you can tell us whether you're satisfied.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to say to commend the report by the Chair Health. And indeed, if the engineers went and looked at the status of the generator and made sure that the automation of the system is back working, then, Mr. Speaker, I'm contented with the report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. We have another response from the same sectoral committee on health, Honorable Chair, from a request that was made by Honorable George Nene from Element 8 about Modaite Dispensary.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'd like to respond to the statement that was sought by Honorable George Nene from Elementaita Ward. And Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Nene sought for the statement on whether the department is aware that Modaite Dispensary has not been operational due to lack of staff. Number 2, the measures and strategies the department has put in place to ensure the dispensary is fully operationalized. And number 3, on an operationalization status report of all constructed health centers or facilities from 2013 to date. Mr. Speaker, upon receiving that statement or rather that request, that is on 31st July 2024 from Honorable Nene, the committee wrote to the CC Health on 5th August 2024 concerning the statements that he sought, And in response, the CCM Health Services give the committee a detailed report on the following: on whether the department is aware that Muthaiga dispensary has not been operational due to lack of staffs. The department responded and they said they are aware that Muthaiga dispensary has not been operationalized due to lack of staffs. So the department is aware. Number two, the measures and strategies the department has put in place to ensure that the dispensary is operationalized. The CCM responded that the department has put in place measures to ensure the dispensary is fully operationalized, including prioritizing the recruitment of necessary staff, which is scheduled to be completed in the second quarter of this year, which is 2024-2025 financial year. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, the department is actually looking forward to recruiting the staffs, and therefore I wish to commit and to request the department, that is the Committee on Implementation, to take note of what the department has said, which is next quarter, which is actually we are going to start next month. If there will be no recruitment, Mr. Speaker, therefore, it will be prudent for us actually to request the CC to come and give further clarity as far as that statement is concerned. Therefore, the department is looking forward to recruiting from the next quarter so that they can post the staffs into that facility so that it can be operationalized. The department is also looking forward to allocating necessary resources and equipment to support the staff and ensure smooth operations. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I believe that if the staff will be posted there, then their working conditions, they are going to be supported by the department so that they can be able to work well in that area and so that they can be able to serve the people of that area, of that Muthaiga dispensary. Number three, on operationalization status, Mr. Speaker, the department responded by giving us a list of all dispensaries. And Mr. Speaker, the list is out and it is very voluminous. To some extent, it's a 5-pager or 6-page report. And they have given us the name of the facility, the sub-county where the facility is, the ward, the status, and also the remarks. Mr. Speaker, I would wish that this response to be emailed to all members so that each and every member will be knowing what is happening in their dispensary and what is we are lacking in their dispensary. So that during the supplementary, they can prioritize actually to complete whatever is remaining in that dispensary. Just to sample per sub-county, Mr. Speaker, because it is easier, allow me to go, and actually they started with my words. I don't know why, but I did not compel anyone to give me the, but actually in Elbagon, I kind of, all are operational. Allow me to start with Ituri, my neighboring ward. They are all operational. And they have also given the status of those facilities. Let me go to Nakuru East, where we have Menengai Maternity in Nakuru East, Menengai Ward, and where we have, which is not operational. They said, the remarks, that is the name of the facility is Menengai Maternity in Nakuru East Sub-County, in Menengai Ward. The status of that facility, it is not operational. The remarks that they said, it needs a paracenter pit, the sewage system, it needs to be connected with water, it needs to have cabinets installed, and it needs to be equipped. Mr. Speaker, I am aware that we had a policy that was tabled in this House requesting honorable members who have such kind of facilities to complete them. And the work of the executive was only to post the staffs and also to make sure that the medicine and the medicine and the staffs will be provided. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, it's a humble request to honorable member for Menengai to make sure that actually he have completed. Once he looks at that actually remarks, he be making sure that he have actually done the necessary so that that facility can be operationalized. If we go to Menengai West, we have Bulgay dispensary. In Nakuru West, Barut Ward, which is not operational. The facility lacks OPD and it lacks toilets. Mr. Speaker, we cannot operationalize or start a facility with no toilets. It defeats the needs for that facility. Because we need, therefore we need 2 toilets. We need the toilets for the staffs and the toilets for the patients, so that actually they will not actually interact because of the issues of the diseases, how they can be spread by the staffs by interacting with the patient. Therefore, that one is Nakuru West. Therefore, the member for that Nakuru West actually will take note of what is needed in their facility. Now, we also have Nakuru West, London, which is actually the others are operational apart from that. We have Kabazi in Subukia. We have Kabazi, which is in Subukia, Kabazi, and there is no furniture, and they need actually furniture so that that facility can be operationalized. Therefore, the honorable member is going actually to check from this schedule where actually what is needed in this facility, though it's already in use. It is not actually complete, and the vital facilities that are supposed to be in that facility are there, apart from furnitures and the rest, but though it is already in the use. Mr. Speaker, we have also another facility which is called Bongoine in Waseges. It is operational, though it needs renovations. It's complete, but actually it was completed earlier to some extent that currently its maternity need renovations so that they can be able to offer proper services. And also it also has a lab that needs actual renovations. Mr. Speaker, you realize that some of the facilities, they inherited the colonial houses that were constructed then in 1900. And therefore we are neither in another century, and therefore majority of them need actually some renovations so that there can be actually they can be in good shape to offer services. They also have churches there at Waseges that is incomplete. It requires painting and renovation also. Mr. Speaker, allow me to go to Longai sub-county. In Longai sub-county, all are operational. There's none that is missing. All of them are operational. Allow me, Mr. Speaker, to go to Gilgil, where we have Marewa, Kasarani Dispensary, Gilgil, and in Marewa, which is not operational. It lacks maternity units and outpatients, and therefore the member ought actually to complete it so that actually it can be operational. It's only some few rooms that have been constructed, and they can after even accommodate the patients. I think it is, and I wish the honorable member will comment onto that, because actually, according to the statement that has been responded, they are saying for it to be operational, it requires an outpatient department, which actually they can have a triaging, they can have actually also the records, they can have also the trauma activities being actually carried out at that level, so that they can be taken to the injection rooms, and they can also be given some medicines. Therefore, there is some room, or rather it requires some expansion so that it can be operationalized. We also have Kikope Dispensary, the same. Kiungururia Dispensary, the same in Buru Baruk. Nudu Dispensary in Morindat, it requires also some expansions. Mr. Speaker, allow me to move to the next sub-county, which is Krusoi South, which is Kipremayo Dispensary in Krusoi South at Kiptagich, which is not operational. Main building is complete. There's no sanitary facilities, therefore there's no toilets. and there is no equipment. And it's the responsibility of the individual member to make sure that he has provided for the said facilitations. We also have Chebotoi Dispensary in Kurusoi North, Kiptagich, which is stalled. The facility is awaiting further funding. Therefore, I think the funds that were provided for that dispensaries were not enough, and therefore it is stalled somewhere, and therefore it requires additional funding, of which I request the member to do the necessary. We have Kapro Boy Dispensary in Kurusoi South, Tinet, complete but not operational. Main building is complete, no equipment, no fence. Therefore, the member is required actually to do the equipment, to set aside some funds for equipment, and also to fence the said facility so that it can be operational. We have Ogek Dispensary in Kurusoi South, Tinet, which is incomplete. They say there is no sanitary facilities and fence. We also have Kabogoi Dispensary, Kurusoi South, Tinet, stalled from foundation to shrub level only. Therefore, the member, I think the member will be able now to do the necessary, and I can see him here, is going to do the necessary so that actually he can complete that dispensary. Kabongoi, Tinet. We have Orenguroni, Kurusoi South. Yes. Sorry? If the member have concern, and actually he will respond after this, Mr. Speaker, because actually that's what they have indicated. Sorry. They are twin brothers. But I did not actually mention him. I say the member is around because we are with him there. So actually he will do the necessary. We have Orenguroni in Kurusoi South, which is in Amaro. It is incomplete. I think it's Orenguroni sub-county facility. It is incomplete. It requires painting and wiring. So therefore, there is such kind of facility that requires actually the completion. And that facility, Honorable Speaker, it's confusing because there was some building there that were constructed by the CDF, and it was abandoned. There is also another ongoing structure there that is being constructed by the headquarters. Therefore, the one that was being constructed by the CDF, the honorable member can carry on, and he can complete that facility so that it can continue offering services to the members of the public in that sub-county or in his ward. Allow me, Mr. Speaker, to go to Naivasha sub-county, whereby we have Sisioni Dispensary and Maternity in Naivasha sub-county, Naivasha East Ward, not operational. There is no septic tank. There is no connected to the pit latrine. It is also lacking equipment and water. And these are essential things for that facility to operate. We also have Mwenga Dispensary, Naivasha East, complete structure, but there is no water supply, no electricity, no equipment, and those are required so that it can operate. We also have Hopewell Dispensary in Naivasha Sub-County, Viwandani Ward. Facility is complete. Its equipment are kept at Kayore Dispensary, but there is no electricity, no water. Therefore, it requires electricity and water so that it can be operationalized. Narasha Dispensary, Naivasha, Olkaria. Infrastructure complete with 2 staff house. There is incomplete drainage, no toilets, no water supply, no electricity, no equipment. Mishiringeri Dispensary, Naivasha Health Gate, complete infrastructure, no sanitation facilities, no electricity, no water supply. Kayore Dispensary, Naivasha, complete infrastructure, no equipment, no furniture, no electricity. Maimahiu, Naivasha, Maimahiu ward, incomplete, not completed. Mr. Speaker, they did not give us actually the status, but however the member is in the house, actually he'll be able to give an elaboration on the said facility. And the rest also, Mr. Speaker, we have Kihoto, Lakeview, not operational. And Mr. Speaker, allow me to mention this. In that facility, there's no rent set aside. Therefore, there was only a container that was taken there, that was stationed there. And it will require prefabrications, and it's already vandalized. Therefore, no operation that can take place in that facility. Nyamadi, missing fence. Then we have Maera Health Center, which is not operational. In Maera, I think there is no, and Maera, I don't know whether it's actually in Naivasha still. There is no laboratory staff, and therefore what is required, because actually the member was actually to request for that statement, the laboratory staffs will be recruited together with the recruitment that is will be actually be learned. Just as at least actually in the next quarter, so that they can post our staff there. Mayera Center Laboratory, I have responded to that. We have Dabibi, no laboratory staffs, they'll be recruited. We have Munyu Dispensary in Naivasha East, and operational equipment, no furniture, no water. We have Taita in Joro Ward. It is stalled, and it needs actually to be completed. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, the honorable member is around, and he knows what to do. We have Rikia Dispensary in Joro Maunarok, not operational, because of human resource, no paracenter pit, not equipped, and not connected to water. So the honorable member will do the necessary. We have Rare Pwani Dispensary, outpatient department, not operational. It requires equipment, and then the department will give it the human resource. We have Motarakwa Dispensary in Kehingo, not operational. It requires equipment, not connected to water, and it will require some innovations. We have Kaptich Sururu Dispensary in Joro Maunarok, not operational. It requires innovations and equipping. We have Kabatini Health Center in Bahati. It is 80% complete, and it requires fence. So it requires, it's awaiting for completions so that actually it can start operations. We have also Bahatiluro, which has a fence that is 45% complete. We have also Bahati Sub-County, which is 40%. That is mother and baby unit that is being facilitated by the Kingdom Seeker. It is 40% complete. We also have Githima Dispensary in Kurusoi North, Kiptororo, not operational, no title deed, no water supply, no electricity connections, no perimeter wall, no window panes. So therefore, the facility actually the member ought to note so that during the supplementary, he'll do the necessary. You have Kabianga Dispensary, Kurusoi North, Kamara, not operational, incomplete structures, no toilets, no title deed, no water supply, no perimeter wall. We have Jogo Dispensary, Kurusoi North, Kiptororo, not operational, not in dispute current, and actually the member ought actually to act as a mediator so that actually that dispute can be sorted. They can also have the title deeds. They can fast track for the processing of the title deed, and I can see the chair lands committee here. There is no wall, no fence in that dispensary, and it requires actually that fence so that it can be operationalized. We also have Kiptororo Dispensary, Kurusoi North Kiptororo operation, though in complete structure. So therefore, there's something ought to be done. There is no electricity, and there is no title deed. We also have Kipkoya dispensary in Krusoi North, Kiptororo, not operational. It is in old, incomplete building. There is they have just a temporary toilet. I don't know what the meaning of the temporary toilet. Perhaps the member will elaborate. No title deed, no water, no electricity. Mr. Speaker, I believe if the members will be given this list, perhaps the members will have actually a proper summary, so that when we'll meet next, when we'll be crossing the years, the members will be asking me if they will have done the necessary, why their facilities are not operational, why the members of those areas are not receiving adequate services that they deserve to be receiving from the said facility. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I request to respond to honorable member that sought this statement and input of the members that have been mentioned where their facilities are not functional, so that if there are further clarity, Mr. Speaker, will be obliged to respond to them. I beg to respond to the two statements.
Chair, even as you sit, I want to seek your clarification. You know, according to the County Government Act, Section 185, the legislative authority of the County Assembly, you know the principle of the separation of powers. And from your response, there's a point, it's like you have given the mandate of the questions that were asked to the executive. It's like it has been thrown back to the County Assembly. It's like the statement is saying members will have done ABCD for the purpose of separation of powers.
Thank you, Paul. I'm cognizant of that, Honorable Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, you know that how we do our budgeting and our appropriations. And you know, Mr. Speaker, as I said, that we tabled here a policy that requested the members to operationalize level 3s and level 4s to make sure that during the appropriation processes, they will sit down with the members of the public and appropriate funds to go directly to those facilities so that those facilities can be operationalized by the departments. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, the point of connections is the point of representations. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, you know, we have not elaborated the work of representation. But, Mr. Speaker, during the budgeting public participation, that's where the honorable members are required actually to emphasize and to request the members of the public to put aside some resources to go directly to those facilities. Because, Mr. Speaker, the burden of the department is so huge. In this sense, Mr. Speaker, once the facilities that are being operationalized, they require electricity bills, they require some staffs to be paid, they require medicine, and they require even some specialized equipment, like some specialized equipment for the laboratories, and reagents, lab reagents, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, what we are saying and what we requested the members is that actually they own up. When they construct the dispensary is not structures, it's not the building. It requires also additional equipment that are supposed to be there. Like the way currently we are doing for the ECDs. We are constructing ECDs and equipping them. So what we are requesting the members is to construct and equip. Those that were constructed area, they are supposed to set aside some funds to equip so that the department will take there, or we post there, the staffs and the medicines so that they can be able now to actually to operationalize those facilities. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I am cognizant of the separation of powers, but there, however, appropriations reports come to this House, and it is the responsibility of the members, where the powers have been donated to them by the members of the public, to set aside some funds to go to that venture so that those dispensaries and those facilities can be operationalized.
Thank you for the clarification. Honorable Nene, you requested the statement. You can give your response.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've heard the response from the Chairperson Health, and Mr. Speaker, it is important to note that Muthaiga Dispensary started its construction way back when devolution began, that is in the first assembly. But up to now, The area residents have never benefited from any services from the facilities because of lack of staffs. And the department has over and over again promised to give staffs. And since the department has committed to employ staff in the last quarter, let me hope that the department has given this time will not disappoint. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think they said the second quarter, and I see chair implementation is in the house. You can also take note of that. Honorable Chemu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity. Mine is to request the chair to elaborate more about the issue of Rongai sub-county. He has mentioned Rongai sub-county at large, that the dispensary which are there are functional or operational. So for in Visoi ward, there is a dispensary called Kware Kapkwen, and it's not operational. And also, there is many challenges that we are facing as residents of Visoi. And I do remember when Her Excellency the Governor, during campaign period, she promised a dispensary called Kandutura Dispensary, that she will improve that facility, because she mentioned that even when the child is born, she will be stolen because there is no fence, there is no water. The maternity itself is not in good condition. So I think that one is noted. About the Lengenet dispensary, also the toilet has already sunk, and maybe the residents in future will not visiting that dispensary. This morning, I was informed that for the last 1 week, there is no medicine. What the resident can find in that dispensary in Kandutura, even the Panado itself is not there. And there is many challenges about the drugs. And also, the issue of, in Lengenet also, there is no maternity. People are traveling far to find the maternity facility. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
By order of seniority, we start with the chair, Lance, and then we're going to come to Honorable Alex.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, to allow me to contribute to this particular report, of course, from the statement. Honorable Speaker, let me start by thanking the Honorable Member, Nene, to have sought this statement. It really has given us a platform. It's an eye-opener to a number of issues that indeed could be happening, and were it not of the statement sought, probably this information would not have come to this floor. So Honorable Nene, congrats, and I think that's the way to go. On the other side, I wish also to thank the members, especially the head of the committee, thought the department to respond to this particular statement. But Mr. Speaker, listening to the response from the chair, I think it should be a wake-up call to all of us. There is something terribly wrong in this particular county. You know, I've heard the Honorable Chair trying to apportion the blames as if now the honorable members here have not allocated some money to complete projects. That could be one reason, but that's not sufficient reasons as to why these facilities are not offering services, Mr. Speaker. As the department, the mother department, their core mandate is to make sure that these facilities that have been used or put up using taxpayers' money are operational. It's one thing that some of the projects that had been established 10 years, 5 years ago are not operational. How then do we apportion the blame to the current sitting MCAs, probably that they had not allocated some money? We have had the department, we have had some officers, they are being paid for this kind of works. Mr. Speaker, seriously speaking, honorable members, how I wish that one day, one time, we will wake up on our feet and play an oversight role as expected. There are people who are sleeping on their jobs in this county. There are people who are not even cognizant of the issues the residents of this county are going through. They are running from issues of not structures, even drugs, Mr. Speaker. Some of the facilities, when you say they are not even a perimeter fence, there are even no toilets. How do we have a facility without a toilet, especially when we are talking of a health center? I mean, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, we have just to wake up and start doing this kind of oversight role. And if anything, I think, in my view, we have to get to a point where we have to send somebody packing so that, again, it is a lesson to other people to really wake up and perform their duties. Mr. Speaker, I want to pick some issues, which, again, it touches on my department again, in terms of the issues of lands. And Honorable Speaker, this issue has been talked here not once, not twice. How many times we are talking about? I think we must give the departments the time frames where we want to say within a period of 1 year or 2 years, especially the county government facilities, the county government lands whose facilities are lying on. We must regularize and have the title deeds to these particular facilities. It cannot be a song forever. From the time immemorial, during Knuthia's time, that was an issue. During Lee's time, that's an issue. During Susan's time, that's an issue. We also expect another term to remain the same issue. These things must be put into time frame. And the officers in place, the officers in question, must be brought to books, Mr. Speaker. And the team for implementation, Mr. Chair, on the resolution of these particular issues, we must have the specific time frame upon which we expect some things to happen. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to sit down by saying, seriously speaking, the department have had some headquarters allocations. We have had some headquarters projects. Even some of those projects have not been completed yet. Even though some of the projects, Mai and wherever, have not been operational as yet. Can we also blame the MCAs who have not allocated the money to that effect? I think, to me, the answer is no. Because there are those projects that are being undertaken by the headquarters. Have they been operational? So, Mr. Speaker, I want to challenge the chair for health. I want to challenge all of us here, including myself, that this time round we must really be firm. We can even take only 2-3 functions or facilities. Tuchukue tu hata kama ni 3 ama ni 4, tuseme hizi kufikia muda fulani lazima ziwe zinafanya kazi. Kama sio hivyo, mtu akanyake nje. Hatutakuwa hapa tukiimba wimbo kila wakati, tukipembezana na punda kwa mteremko na watu wanaumia. Hatuwezi kuendelea hivyo, Bwana Spika. Hatuwezi kuendelea kujadili kana kwamba watu wanataka watuone kwa screen tukiongea. Hatuwezi kuendelea kujadili ni kana kwamba sisi sasa tunakuja hapa tukifunga matai ni kama we are flower girls. No. Actions must be taken. Kuna watu wametutuma hapa kazi. Wanatarajia kazi iwe inatendeka kwao. What are we going to go back and tell them? Especially when we are talking of devolved functions. Like facility, like health centers. Mr. Speaker, I want to end there by saying that I'm really disappointed as a leader in this county. I'm really disturbed with the reluctance of some officers in the offices. And it's highest time that people must wake up or they shape up. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I take note of the minority whip, but before then I had asked Honorable Alex. So after Alex, we'll have the minority whip and then Honorable Chair for Roads, and then Honorable Maimahio, Honorable Edwin.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to make my comments. First, I want to say that it is true that some of the facilities which were mentioned are from my ward, and I want to say that one of the facilities, that is Kipkewa Dispensary, is totally complete. The equipments are kept at Kuresoi Health Center. It is only that they are waiting for the staff. Honorable Speaker, you heard yesterday from the report on the Chair of Lands that Afra Stadium has got only allotment letter. You have heard today from the Chair Health that the 3 or 4 facilities that were mentioned from my ward, all of them doesn't have title deeds. All the operational health facilities in my ward, that is the 3 dispensaries, Kuresoi Health, Kuresoi Dispensary, Kongoi Dispensary, and the other 2 are operational, but they doesn't have title deed. Honorable Speaker, I think I can even start by questioning if this assembly has got title deed. Because if we can spend a lot of money on lands which have got no title, then I don't know where these titles are. What is the department on lands doing? We have been talking on this over and over again. When we were at Keringet Sports Stadium, we realized that the allocation to its completion is 1.2 billion. By the end of it all, title will not be there. Now we are talking on these other facilities. Honorable Speaker, let us start even from where we are. Does this facility have title deed? Because we are at risk spending a lot of money, taxpayers' money, on lands which have got no titles. Honorable Speaker, there is a big joke in this county, and it is us to crack the whip. The other day, we visited we have visited as trade committee 4 trading centers. All of them doesn't have title deeds. All of them. Honorable Speaker, we need to task the department on lands to respond on this question so that these issues can come to an end. I want to challenge the committee on implementation to actually work on this issue so that as other issues arose, we have actually settled on this. Otherwise, we will end up spending a lot of money and we will not feel the value for the same because we are spending money on lands which are not for the county. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Virginia, member of County Assembly from Hell's Gate Ward. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I would like to appreciate Honorable Nene for asking for this statement because in the midst of him getting the reply, we have also benefited from the same. Mr. Speaker, I would not like to repeat what Honorable Alex has said, but I think in this county, most of the public facilities don't have title deeds. Reason, I don't know, because we started talking about these things since the first assembly. Now it's going to 15 years, Yet, most of the facilities don't have title deeds, including Karagita Dispensary in my ward. But Nyamadi Dispensary, we have the title deed because it was land which had been set aside by the community, and they have made sure all their public facilities have title deeds. But the rest, they don't have. Mr. Speaker, why I've risen up in support of the report or the statements is because I feel that as if the statements are not complete. Because like Moshirigeri Dispensary, I've already set 3 million, 23-24 budget, I have 3 million for equipping and fencing and also the sanitation facility. Yet in the report, they have not indicated that. I think for the statement to be complete, it should have given what has been allocated money and what is lacking, so that now even the honorable members can know what they will add. Mr. Speaker, I think we appreciate that we have the ward fund and the money we get in our respective wards. But that money is not for health department alone. Whereas we know how emotive the healthy issue is in our country, the money which is allocated to the wards, even if the honorable members try their level best, they cannot be able to sustain. So it's my plea that the department, because we have money allocated for development in the department, let the department also come up and assist in each and every ward. Let them do something to supplement the money, like now building the dispensaries and equipping it from the ward kitty. Like myself, I think I now have 4 dispensaries. The money which is required to sustain or to equip the dispensaries, even the ones which are operational, that money is not enough. Let us also get money from the executive, from the department, so that we can be able to run those facilities. Otherwise, the raw ward fund or the ward kitty cannot be able to sustain all that is required in those health facilities, Mr. Speaker. I raise my case, and I hope the chair, and I being a member of the health committee, let them go back and come up with what has been allocated money and what is lacking. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And also I'd like to congratulate Honorable Nene for seeking these statements because it has enlightened and opened our eyes more wider. Honorable Speaker, allow me to address or give information to Honorable Member or RAD Chairman Bona Mheshimiwa Paranga. There is activity of surveying that is going on within the county in some of our centers. And they want to issue the title deeds, Honorable Speaker. It's my humble request that our facilities to be given priority as this activity is being carried on, Honorable Speaker. The health facilities should be given a priority so that the title deed can be processed. So it's my humble request to the chairman to have that knowledge that there is something that is happening, and he liaises with the Department of Roads, that is the Waziri, Kihagi, and the CEO, Stera, so that they can do a joint thing so that we can be legal owner of those facilities. To Honorable Speaker, allow me to, I've heard the Chair Health have highlighted about Malewa West Ward, that is Kasarani Dispensary. Honorable Speaker, this dispensary is Kasarani is one of the most densely populated area, where that area is about 40 acres of land, And we have a population of about more than 10,000 households, Honorable Speaker. Within that area, we have a primary school which have more than 1,700 PPs. We have an ECD there, Honorable Speaker, with more than 400 PPs. What does that tell you? The dispensary that is there serves, or the workload, and those people deserves a maternity wing, Honorable Speaker. But it's vice versa. Those people has to travel all the way to Naivasha, level 3, no, level 4. It's a distance of about 30 kilometers from Kasarani to Naivasha District Hospital. I will do allocation, Honorable Speaker, because we have the 2 rooms there. I will do my best to make sure I have allocation so that that maternity can be operational. Pole, wakati mwingine shetani anaingilia. Ni kawaida, itabidi tu tukubali Mheshimiwa Spika, na hii ni kawaida, watu wasione kama vitu zetu ni fake. Mitambo, so my point was, Honorable Speaker, let us try to do allocations so that we can ensure that those facilities are operational, all of them. What are we going to do with matters to do with understaffing? Because sometimes it will be very embarrassing when we make sure that we allocate we allocate some funds so that those maternity wings can operate well. It's now upon the duty of Chair Health to make sure that, to lobby for more funds on budget so that we can make sure the issue of understaffing is normal. And I think we are going to support him on that as a House, so that health being agenda number 1 of our governor, we can implement it and it will sound good, Honorable Speaker. As I finalize, I would like to thank Honorable Nene for this statement. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa sababu ya kunipatia nafasi hii niweze kuchangia katika hoja hii muhimu iliyo katika mbele ya bunge hili letu. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwanza nitangulie na kumshukuru Mheshimiwa Nene kwa sababu ya kukuja na hii mjadala. Pia nimshukuru Mheshimiwa Jogona, mwenyekiti wa kamati ya afya, kwa sababu ya kuleta majibu kwa wakati ulio mwafaka. Mheshimiwa Spika, hili jambo tumelizungumza la afya. Na ninaona yote ambao Mheshimiwa Jogona ambao ameisoma katika nyumba hii ni marudio tu ya yale ripoti zote amezileta hapa. Mheshimiwa Spika, kama nimesikiliza vizuri, shida kama hospitali kama 10 hazina umeme, hazina choo, hazina maji, na hakuna yenye imeanza juzi, zote zimechukua muda. Mheshimiwa Spika, jambo la kuwa na hati miliki ya hii mashamba ambayo ni ya serikali ni kidonda sugu, limezungumzwa sio mara moja, sio mara mbili katika nyumba hii. Mheshimiwa Spika, nikipeana mfano kidogo tu ya kueleweka, niko na hospitali ya level 4 ambayo iko kwangu. Ilianzwa sasa ni mwaka wa 6. Haijakamilika. Wakati ambapo hiyo nyumba iliweza kupatiwa pesa na serikali iliyopita kiwango cha shilingi milioni 150. Kuna mtu amejitokesha akasema yeye ndiye mwenye shamba, akaenda kotini. Na koti ikaamua kinyume nasi. Nikasema ya kwamba kaunti inafaa sasa inunue hilo shamba kulingana na kiwango ama ambavyo value yake iko wakati huu. Mheshimiwa Speaker, sasa niko na mambo mawili ambayo ninapigania. Ya kwanza, kesi iko kotini, mwenye shamba anasema alipwe. Nyumba iko hapo haijakamilika. Wananchi hawalali usiku na mchana wakiuliza hospitali yao nini iliendelea. Jambo ambalo nauliza, hii jambo la title D, kwani ni ugonjwa wa kuambukizanwa? Kuanzia serikali ya kwanza, ya pili na ya tatu. Na sio tu kwa serikali za ugatuzi, mpaka kwa national government. Ukiangalia vitu mingi zao hazina title D. Mheshimiwa Speaker, sijajua ni nini hasa shida, kwa sababu majirani waliozunguka hospitali wenyewe wako na title D, lakini hospitali yenyewe haina. Na yeti serikali yenyewe ndio imewapa hizo title D. Sijui ni kidonda cha aina gani hiki, sijajua ni lugha gani hii ama nini hii inapofanyika katika serikali zetu. Mheshimiwa Speaker, ni jambo la kusitikisha sana ya kwamba zile pesa ambazo zimesomwa pale za hizo hospitali zote, kama ingewekwa pamoja, ni pesa mamilioni ya pesa about there is no value. Hakuna ile kitu tunasema value for that money, haina chochote kile ambacho tunaweza sema. Mheshimiwa Speaker, kwa hivyo ombi langu kubwa hata kwa waheshimiwa walio hapa, haina haja sasa tuanze miradi mingine mpya. Mtu aanze discipline nyingine na ile ya kwanza haijafanya kazi, haitakuwa maana. Tutakuwa tunafanya kazi ni kama ya kupoesha uji, hakutakuwa ni kitu ya maana tunafanya. Mimi ningeomba kama msaidizi wa mwenyekiti wa kamati ya mashamba, is a wake up call tumepatiwa leo ya kwamba we need to give timelines. Tunahitaji tuwapatia watu timelines za kufanya kazi sasa. If you want to start with sub counties, tuwaambie, kwa sababu sio masoko, sio mahospitali, sio mahali tumejenga nyumba zetu za county ama nini, hakuna title. Lazima tuwapatie wakati. Tuseme sasa hata kama tutaanzia sub county, basi tuseme ya kwamba tukianzia na Kuresoi ama tunaanzia na Nakuru, basi tumewapatia hii kwanza, mtu wapatie title yote ya masoko na mashamba yote iliyo hapa basi. Kama basi ndio itakuwa ni jambo ambalo linaweza tusaidia, basi ndio tupate hiti maliki za hizi mashamba tuko nayo. Kama vile Mheshimiwa Alex amesema, hatuna uhakika. Hata kama hii nyumba tumekaa bunge hii bado iko na title, hatujui. Na unaona kiwango cha pesa kimekuwa hapa. Sasa sijui ni pesa ni ile mjengo ndio muhimu ama kwanza ni kumiliki shamba kwenyewe. So Mheshimiwa Speaker, ni jambo ambalo liko na huzuni. Nikiongea tu kuhusu hospitali yangu ambayo imetajwa Maima hiyo. Nashukuru kwa sababu katika mwaka uliopita ilipatiwa pesa. Lakini hadi wa leo bado contractor hajafika ground. Tuliweza kumpatia mwezi mmoja sasa umepita. Sijamuona. Nimejaribu kwa njia zote nimfikie. Lakini bado ni kama sauti yangu haifiki mahali panafaa. Maana mtu amepatiwa shilingi milioni 68 akamilisha hospitali na sasa mwezi mzima umeisha. Hospitali sasa inaelekea mwaka wa 7. Mheshimiwa Speaker, kama unaweza kubuka pale Maimai hiyo kulitokea janga kubwa wakati wa mafuriko. Lazima ilitubidi kuchukua watu kupeleka mpaka Naivasha. Wengi walikufia kwa barabara. Ilibidi mpaka tutafute hema tuweke mahali like a dispensary ndio iweze kutuokoa na kutusaidia. Na hospitali iko hapo miaka 6. Who is to be blamed? Nani ataraumiwa kwa hii? Mimi ombi langu ambalo ningeliomba na ningeomba kwa kamati ya afya pia, because kama nchi yenyewe itakuwa na afya, kama wananchi watakuwa na afya, nchi yenyewe itakuwa na afya. Ile ombi ningeomba kwa kamati ya afya na kwa wajumbe, ni heri basi tuzianze miradi mingine ya hospitali, kwanza tuhakikishe zote ambazo tuko nazo zimekuwa za manufaa kwa wananchi. Kwa sababu tusikuwe tu ni mijengo tuko nayo, isikuwe ni nyumba ya mijengo lakini hakuna huduma. Tuhakikisha kwamba kabla tuanze miradi mingine. Na hiyo hata ni kitu nimesema katika wadi yangu sasa. Nimeongea na wananchi ya kwamba tusianze mradi mwingine wowote mpaka ile ambayo yote iko tuhakikishe basi imetunufaa. Maana hakuna haja tuanze manusu.
ile iliachwa, mpaka kuna miradi iliachwa na serikali ya kwanza ya Kenneth Obogwa mpaka wa leo haijakamilika. Sasa tumeingia ile ya serikali ambayo imeondoka, bado haijakamilika. Sasa tumeingia hii tuanze nyingine, bado haijakamilika. Hata wananchi watashindwa hii ni kitu tunafanya kazi namna gani. So bila yangu Mheshimiwa Spika ni ya kwamba tafadhali tuweze kama wajumbe kuhakikisha ya kwamba tumeweka the executive katika laini na we must give people timelines. Tukiendelea hivyo tunaenda. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Honorable Murage representing Masegas, then you go to Honorable Kamau for Kihingo, Honorable Adida representing Mount Narok, then Honorable Wajef representing Menengai East, in that order. Then he'll take a final round.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this chance. And I wanted the chair to clarify whether he has mentioned Kahote Dispensary, a dispensary that has been there for 15 years. There is another one we call Marana Dispensary, also done during Kinodhia's time for 15 years. And also there is also Symbion Dispensary. The laboratory is complete with all the equipments, but there is no staffs. So we are crying as MCAs, and we have the powers. We can even say all those dispensaries that are not done, during supplementary, we allocate funds, and then all those dispensaries will be operational for the purpose of our wananchi. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, I want to commend Mheshimiwa Nene for coming up with this statement, and of course that is going to enable us as honorable members to hear what is going on in our dispensaries and health facilities. Mr. Speaker, I'm concerned, and of course I want to agree with our senior here, Mheshimiwa Palanga, that we have some officers in the county that either do not know what they are supposed to do in their offices, or maybe it is an act of sabotage, even to the government or to the county government. The reason as to why I'm saying this, going through this particular report, that of course was generated by the executive and which has been brought to this assembly by the Committee on Health. You know, I'm disturbed seeing that in this report they are saying there is a dispensary that is in my ward, specifically known as Mutarakwa Dispensary. And sometimes it disturbs me to see the report is saying that the dispensary itself is not operational. That shows negligence by these officers, because Mutarakwa Dispensary is in my ward, and I can say that Mutarakwa Dispensary is operational. The only thing that is not operational, and they need to differentiate, we have the maternity wing and we have the dispensary. What is not operational as per now is the maternity wing. But of course they are specifying here and saying that the dispensary itself is not operational. So this is something that needs to be looked at. And again, it is important for them to say why it is not operational. Maybe to assist the health committee, because this dispensary is in my ward, the maternity wing is not operational because, of course, does not contain equipment. Number two, it is not renovated. And like Mheshimiwa Virginia said, that in our ward kitty, we cannot do all this work using our ward kitty because this money is not enough. So what I did, of course, I allocated about 3.5 million to do the renovation and upgrading of the maternity wing. But of course, I want to request the Department of Health also to be assisting us, because what we need is service delivery to the people. If I allocate 3.5 million, of course, for upgrading and renovations, and then there is no equipment, then it means by the end of the day, this 3.5 million is not going to assist Wanjiko. And that is why we need to have maybe a collaboration between the department and the members of the county assembly. So that if we allocate the little amount that we have, they can, of course, assist us maybe in other sectors. So I want to humbly request through the committee and through the chair, of course, to come up with a way through which, of course, they will be partnering with the MCAs to see what the MCAs have put in place and maybe what can be assisted from the executive side so that by the end of the day, these health facilities are going to be operational. Number two, something that is of concern again, Mr. Speaker, is that some of these health facilities, and maybe we shall need clarification from the chair, health, is that there is a big issue to do with the human resource. Because this human resource is becoming an issue. Because, for example, if a health facility has only one nurse, who is supposed to maybe to operate it maybe during the day and during the night. And sometimes, because of the nature of their work, sometimes they will be called somewhere for training, maybe which might take even days. Then it means if that training is going for 3 days, then it means that the services to the Wanjiko is going to be, of course, affected for those 3 days. So therefore, maybe this is our challenge again because we need maybe to allocate fund, and that is we are going to be guided by the chair health, so that at least what we are concerned is that maybe we have a health facility, but because of one factor or the other, maybe it is not operational because maybe of the issue of human resource. So that is another issue that needs to be looked at. Again, some of these very basic things in our dispensaries, maybe the department should come up with a way of ensuring that these particular dispensaries have the very basics. For example, maybe I was in my hospital, my dispensary, which is called Rusiru, even these equipments that are called triaging equipment. In fact, these equipments are very simple and very basic, even detecting the temperatures of the patients, or even maybe seeing the pressure of the patient. They are not there. Ikafika pahali, even the nurse was requesting me kuwanunulia zile batteries, peke yake, batteries, so that these things can be operational. How are you going to treat a patient if, for example, you have not started from the very basic? So, therefore, we request the Department of Health, all these things, because this is going to affect, of course, the health of our Wanjiko. And if the health of our Wanjiko is affected again, anyway, even the service delivery is compromised in one way or the other. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I am Cyrus Didandegwa, representing the great people of Mount Narok. I stand to agree with Mheshimiwa Honorable Chair Health that it is true we have very many dispensaries at Mount Narok. That is Tipis Dispensary, Mwisholami Dispensary, Mount Narok Dispensary, Likia Dispensary, Kianjia Dispensary, and Kaptich Suru Dispensary. It is true some of the dispensaries we have are not yet complete. And it is also true that most of the dispensaries we have, they only have one nurse. Mr. Speaker, Mount Narok ward is among the wards that have the highest population, with the fact that we are at the farthest end of Nakuru County, bordering Narok on the other side. Now, Mount Narok ward is an agricultural area, and you know, any place that they do agriculture, the population must be very large. I request and I plea with the department that I am going to do my duty, that is setting aside some money for equipping, but also the executive must do their role of employing as many nurses as possible in our hospitals. With fact also, Mr. Speaker, Mwisholami maternity also has, Mwisholami dispensary has a maternity that is fully equipped, but up to today, It is not functional because we only have one nurse who opens maybe at 9 a.m. in the morning. I request Chair, Health, and all of us as honorable members to keep pushing and pressuring, because I'll not allow to be blamed for things that I'm not the one who is controlling. That is employing of nurses. Mr. Speaker, Maunaro Ward, as I have said, we do agriculture. We have a lot of accidents in that place. But even getting an ambulance to come and help, it has been a problem. We don't have an ambulance. The only ambulance we have in Njoro sub-county, it is only one that is in Njoro health facility. And sometimes, tunaambiwa imeharibika, haisaidii watu pale. So I request the department to also see a way in how they can give us an ambulance there in Maunaro Ward. If I decide to use my money or the ward kitty to buy an ambulance, then we shall not do the rest of the things that we are supposed to be doing in Maunaro Ward. I beg and I congratulate Mheshimiwa Nene for coming up with this statement. And I believe this one will not be the end. We shall keep on and keep on pushing mpaka watusikie. Asanteni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've really listened carefully to the contributions by our honorable members. And Mr. Speaker, I'm also as well shocked to hear how many dispensaries are not operational. But Mr. Speaker, there is one thing I need to remind our fellow members, that, Mr. Speaker, we are the people having the cake. And Mr. Speaker, we are the people who are supposed to know all the priorities that we have in this county. And Mr. Speaker, having the cake, and we as an assembly, knowing the priorities that we have, we should make sure that those are the areas that we need to prioritize and to give finances, Mr. Speaker. I have listened to Honorable Kaparanga, and I think he's an advice that he's given to this House, that we are looking as if we are always like crying babies, Mr. Speaker. Every time we are crying, and we are the people who are supposed to say this is supposed to be given to this department. Mr. Speaker, the other day we were crying of the pathetic roads that we have. In the next few months, we have the supplementary budget coming. Mr. Speaker, I would like to urge this House, we remove everything that is not that is not a priority to us. We put money to where it's supposed to have, or to have priority, Mr. Speaker. We have departments that we usually allocate a lot of money, Mr. Speaker. But when you check on what they are doing, it's like we are doing zero work. We don't have tangible things that are on the ground, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the same county and the executive have just closed down our memorial hospital here, of which we as the honorable members, we are crying that our dispensaries are not working. This is where we can get our service, Mr. Speaker. I would like to urge members, can we reopen this facility as fast as possible, whereby we can be able to be sending our members of public or our patients at least to this hospital. Mr. Speaker, I would like to urge this House that we are the people having the cake. Let us know how to share and give priorities where it deserves. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair, you know this was not a motion. You don't have to respond, but given that you've been mentioned a couple of times, I want to give you a chance, but don't take long.
If, with your permission.
Honorable Palanga,
Just an
as a senior member.
Just an information, Mr. Speaker. I think as the chairman is coming to respond, my request to the Secretariat is that just the way they have been tracking some business in this House, Mr. Speaker, at this point in time, it is necessary and we need to have all these other facilities, including their status. Those facilities that have not been, like, for example, factored in terms of budget, like what Honorable Virginia, my neighbor here, said. So that again, Mr. Speaker, it will be very easy for us and the implementation team to follow up. I think, Mr. Speaker, with your guidance, let's do it differently. We have done it in the same way for so long. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Right, Chair. And then, Chair, as you table the report, let's also wish to direct that I noticed you said it was voluminous, but let it be printed and given to all members. They should have a report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was just adhering to the dictates that once we requested to go paperless, that's why I was saying that since now the Assembly has the emails for all members, they ought to be given. But there is no harm, even to actually to put in their pigeon this status report. Mr. Speaker, allow me to say that we just restrained ourselves to the question asked. And the question that was asked, those dispensaries that were only constructed during the devolution. And that's what we did, Mr. Speaker. And that's what actually, that is the response that we gave. Mr. Speaker, we do not want actually to assign our own responsibility or our own questions. We did not design our own questions. And that's what I wanted to respond to Honorable Chemu from Rongai, Honorable Member from Visoi, that the dispensaries that she did not see here are the ones that were constructed before the inceptions of devolution, and that's why we never mentioned them. On the issues of the drugs, Mr. Speaker, allow me to say that that one is an issue that we are going to actually look, and I am aware that like 3 weeks ago, there were drugs that were supplied. Unless they are still in the buffer stores, they have not been taken to the facilities, and that one is an issue that members ought to note. On the issues of the toilet, Mr. Speaker, just as in other departments like in roads, if you construct a road without a culvert, do we blame the department? Those are the issues that I'm saying. If you know that you have monies for a certain road, make sure that you have enough monies to do the necessary. And by this, Mr. Speaker, I wish to request the members that we are going to give the BQs, the standard BQs, that is actually universal for the whole county. We are going to request the department to come up with the proper BQs for equipping, for constructions, including the fencing, for a standard dispensary and a health center. Mr. Speaker, on the issues of land issues, I don't want to belabor because the chairpersons have taken on that matter and is going to work on it. On the issues of the headquarter projects, Mr. Speaker, we were not asked about those projects, but however, we were asked about the health center. Allow me also not to mention to that. The issues of the ward funding. Mr. Speaker, if we had mentioned all the facilities, and I'm happy if one of the members will ask the status of all the facilities, and all the dispensaries, the level 4s and the level 5 that we have, their status, we are going to give. And Mr. Speaker, you're going to realize that there are a lot of gaps there. The burden is too huge. To some extent, even the non-government organizations are asking Nakuru County, stop constructing more facilities. First of all, run the facility that you already have. We were challenged. We were with some of the cracks. We were challenged by non-government organizations just 1 week ago. And therefore, I wish actually to request these members. We cannot have each and every dispensary having a maternity. At least let's have one dispensary that is centrally located in one ward to accommodate the issues of the maternity. But if we open a Pandora's box of making sure that each and every facility, dispensary, can run maternity, we are going to learn, number one, the challenge of equipping those facilities, even the human resource. Mr. Speaker, therefore, I would wish that the members note, they just take cognizance of that, and they identify one of them on the dispensaries that they want to elevate to level 3, that can be a referral for other facilities. And Mr. Speaker, allow me to say and to tell the members, now we are having a shift, a funding model called shift, and all the members of the public are going to start to that dispensaries. Then they will be referred to the Apex facilities. Therefore, they need actually to have at least one. Then, through shifts, perhaps the issue of human resource will be sorted out. On the issues of maternity wing at Kasarani Dispensary, I will seek further clarity. The issues of the staffing, I think that has been already mentioned. On the issues of disputes, Mr. Speaker, allow me to request these members to sit down with their dispensaries, because they are ex-officio members of the boards of those facilities, to make sure that they have also known all the challenges that they have, so that they can be able to settle them. On the contractor delays, we are not aware of that. How I wish that we had been asked that question, we would have responded to that. On the issues of timeliness, Mr. Speaker, I want to say, it starts from this house. We don't keep time. Mr. Speaker, some of the statements that were sought 6 months are still lying somewhere. And that's why we said, Mr. Speaker, it's a time for us to change the tradition. That's why we responded to this statement in 1 week's time. Mr. Speaker, I want to say the dictates of the chair is 14 days. Let those 14 days be adhered to, so that that can trickle down even to the executive. Mutanakwa Dispensary, Mr. Speaker, is the same case of the ward funding. Let the honorable member put enough funds to go to those dispensaries and make sure that their dispensaries are complete. Let them now ask us questions, and we are going to respond to that. On the issues of the triaging equipment, Mr. Speaker, each and every department of the dispensary gets fund quarterly. If their budgeting is challenged, I would wish to request even the honorable member, in this quarter's meeting, or in the next quarter meeting, he should appear to those meetings, so that he can also be told what is the budget for that facility, what is the annual budget for that facility, so that they can be able even to factor for these small issues of battery and so on and so forth. Mr. Speaker, finally, on the issues of the abhorrence, Mr. Speaker, we were made to aware and we were informed that there is abhorrence call center that was acting like the taxi system, whereby we have, for instance, we have Uber system, whereby the nursing officer in certain facility, he just need actually to call the nearby facility, or allow that to come up with a press, whereby we are going to have a call center here, whereby if abhorrence is needed somewhere, the nearby abhorrence in that area can be recalled actually to go and pick a patient and take them to wherever they want to be taken for emergency purposes and so on and so forth. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, allow me to sum by saying, we have had policies, we tabled policies here, and we requested the members to own those small facilities. Then the executives was actually to measure onto the level 4 and level 4 and level 5 and level 6, and high volume level 3s, like the one that we have in the Langaranga here. That one is supposed to now to be taken over by the executive. I would wish that these members dedicate at least one health center. They promote it with the executive. We request them to take over on those dispensaries. Mr. Speaker, I wish to end and request the members, which are posed actually to the members, let them seek for more statements and more statements, because that one will enhance also the oversight. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
What's the order?
Mr. Speaker, I feel that the chair is misleading this House, because he said that the reason he does not have data on some of the health facilities is because they were constructed when devolution had not taken place. But does it really matter whether a facility was put in place before or after the devolution, because health is now a devolved function? He should withdraw that statement, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I think the honorable member did not understand what I said. We restrained ourselves to the question, and the question was the status of all facilities that were constructed from 2013. Mr. Speaker, how have I misread the House? I think some people actually missed some crashes, and I don't blame them, Mr. Speaker, because they are rich comers.
But, Mr. Speaker, in that statement, there is no 2013. The statement was seeking for facilities. Can you read it out correctly?
Hold on, Bwana Chair. It's important to know that we had the transition, and if there is any information that was sought that goes beyond the time that you have reported, I think you can. If whatever that had been sought, you have covered, but still we understand that the honorable member has a valid point because we had transition, but I also believe you covered what had been sought. So as we proceed also, I had given direction that all members get the statement. It does not have to be printed. It can be even in digital form. What is important is that they get it. And I think that matter is being dispensed with.
Mr. Speaker, we are much obliged, and we are going to make sure that at the crack of the Committee of Health, we learn these copies, and I request actually they be put into the pigeons of the members. And number two, Mr. Speaker, I understand Honorable PM what he is saying, but Mr. Speaker, as you say,
Chair, we have dispensed with that issue.
All right, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much. Clerk, next order.
Order number 8, motion.
Next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, those are the morning session orders.
Members, the House stands adjourned until 2:30 in the afternoon.